right, let's go out to Shahey over at Mosville, because Shahey, listen, the kids are kind of like hitting back on the roads to school, or they haven't really had the chance to really learn much with all the pandemic going on. Let's get some rules out there and some tips for those kids who are starting to drive a little bit, and some important ones. So let's start. What's the first one?
Yes, the first one is definitely avoiding left turns. I know you can't completely avoid it, but you want to do your best to try and avoid as many left turns as possible, because the number one reason for an accident at an intersection is because of a left turn. You have a lot of obstruction. It's hard to gauge the traffic coming from the other side. The best thing you can do with technology, just get on the computer and just go to MapQuest or Google Maps and map out your to and from, whether it's from home to school or to work, and see where you're going. Try to make as many right turns as possible to avoid the left turn. That's rule number one.
Yeah, all right. Rule number two is, I think, walking around the car.
No, actually, there's no order to it, but yes, walking around the car is really good to do. What you want to do is for two reasons. One is you want to make sure that your tires are not flat. Once you get to your destination, just come out and say, all right, let me just do a quick walk around. There's no dings, there's no scratches, everything is good, and that's it. Because the other thing is, when you are, especially at night, and a teen, if you're in a parking lot, and unfortunately with the situation we are now, there's a lot more thieves out there, they can get into your car and hide in the back seat. So if you're a teen and you're in a hurry, you're on your phone, you come in, you hop in, what if somebody's in the back? So you want to be able to do a walk around and kind of just look in before you hop in, just as a safety caution. So the walk around is very important to do as well, because you just never know who's back there.
Yeah, all right, what's our next tip?
Next step is to keep the following distance. So the rule of thumb is, when you're in the back of the car and you're driving and you can see the back wheels of the car in front of you, that's the distance that you want to get to make sure that you're far enough away that in case that other vehicle stops, you're not going to run into them. And if you don't gauge it, basically practice to get on American Idol and sing "Happy Birthday to Me" 3 times. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. And you lean down and there you are. That's the distance. As long as you can see the back of the tires, that is exactly where you need to be.
So, all right, what else do you have for us?
Okay, and basically the last thing is always make sure that you're backing into a parking space. So when you're parking, always back into the space, because you can control maneuvering better. 2, if you are in an emergency, you need to get out. You can just hop in and just pull forward rather than wasting 5-8 minutes trying to maneuver yourself out. And then lastly, if the car gets stuck and you need to have it towed, or a mechanic needs to show up, it's all ready to go to be pulled, because most cars need to be towed from the front rather than the back. But if you're already backed in, you're good to go.
So I like it. Also, one tip I like to tell the parents, and that is with insurance, and that is to make sure the insurance of their kids check it. But I wrote a note to my kids, and it said, listen, you're more important than the car. Don't worry about it. It was just an accident, as long as you're okay. And it surprises them, but that's also, the kids need to make sure know where the insurance is, and the parents need to make sure they teach those kids who to call, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And not only that, but if you did do a walk around and you saw something dinged and it's not your fault, the car was parked there, wouldn't you like to go and ask someone, hey, is there any witnesses? Maybe the store or the coffee shop saw somebody. It's good to be aware, because afterwards, once you get home as a kid, I'm a parent, if I look at a ding, I'm going to blame my son first before thinking somebody else did it because he didn't pay enough attention.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to put you through a test here, because my son put it through me. How many actual vehicle laws are there when we only get, I think, 25 or 30 on the test? How many do you think there are?
I'm sorry, the tow truck, I didn't hear you. What was the question?
I said, on here we go. On the test for driving, there's only about 25, 30 questions. But how many laws actually are there for driving our vehicles that we don't know about? How many do you think there are? Oh,
probably none.
So, none? No, there's 200. What are you talking about? None. Did I not say it right?
No, again, if I understood you correctly, you said driving, so you can't drive and take a written test, so I misunderstood that.
No, I was saying on the written test, there's about 25 or 30 questions when you take the test, right?
Okay.
Okay, so that's only 30 of the different laws or rules that we talk about. how many actually are there that the kids need to know about?
Oh, man, that's a good question. Off the top of my head, I couldn't even guess.
So you ready? My son went into this. There's over 200 vehicle violations that we need to know about, from turning to actually passing cars to actually getting into the middle lane when you're trying to merge in, which you're not supposed to move at all. So kids need to really pay attention to those, because my son was stopped on some and he was very upset and he thought it was like, oh, they're trying just to get me, but they were actually laws that we don't talk about on the test. So I don't know. It's Monday,
That's
Shah.
important. That's crucial. That's good to know.
It is. Hey, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll check in next month with you with some more car tips. That sound good? So, all right.
Thanks.